A lot of positive momentum at the University of Alabama. How about the way that the recruiting class finished? Started by Nick Saban, finished by Kalen DeBoer. And Nick Saban in the headlines. We're going to talk about that. Ryan Grubb says he's staying. So that's more good news for Alabama. All that coming up right here on the Bama Tailgate YouTube channel. Make sure that you guys like and subscribe. Give us a thumbs up. Join our Facebook page as well. Let's get this thing started with a big, hearty Roll Tide. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Bama Tailgate YouTube channel. I'm Mick Gillispie at Broadcaster Mick, and it is great to see you guys here today. Let's talk some Alabama football. A lot to get into. Another big recruiting day for the Crimson Tide wrapped up yesterday. We're going to get into that, but first let's start with the guy that laid the groundwork for everything, and that's Nick Saban. Nick Saban going to College Game Day. How about that? Interesting thinking about Nick Saban as a commentator and not a football coach. You remember it was reported a few years ago that he was considering that in the past and then decided that, you know what? He was still ready to coach. He ended up winning some more titles. There were times where he wasn't sure exactly what he was going to do. But, you know, decided to stick it out in coaching. Now he's retired and he's going to be an analyst for ESPN. He's done a good job when he's been on the air talking about football. He doesn't have an amazing personality, but he brings that track record of success, knowing what's going on. What he doesn't have in charisma on the air, he makes up for with obviously his ability to break down plays, which is, and I'm just talking charisma wise as far as talent, forget about, you know, who he is, but listening to him talk about plays and how to defend plays and how to attack defenses and how to attack offenses and stuff like that. He's one of the best. And it's going to be really fun to watch him on game day talking about football. And it keeps him kind of involved in football, even though he's not coaching anymore. So that was announced right after the signing day. You know, Alabama's class was in the book. So, you know, I wonder if there was any kind of, correlation there between those two things, right? Did he say, hey, I'm going to wait until the guys are all in, we get the contracts before I do that? Or was it just timing by ESPN? Hey, everybody's talking college football right now. And it would be a great time to kind of bring in, Nick Saban as an analyst to ESPN. So good for him. The game day show is obviously in a state of change. Lee Corso, who really has been kind of the face. I mean, think about it. I know that Kirk Herbstreit, I think he does a great job on the show. I'm not a big fan of the show like I used to be. A lot of it's just the fluff that goes along with it. It's like I just want to watch football, and I sometimes feel like it's a lot of other stuff besides just football. But at the same time, I liked the direction that things were going this year. You know, I enjoy, when people get up there and tell it like they see it and not try to be so, and I don't want to say politically correct, but if you're up there trying to make friends with everyone, then you're not being honest. And for the entertainment value, you know, it's kind of nice to hear people that are giving a genuine take. You know, and I felt like there was a little bit more of that this year. And so, Nick Saban, he's going to tell it the way he sees it. And I think that'll be good for ESPN and obviously for game day. So pretty good news there as we get ready for football, even though we got a while to go. Right. More good news for Alabama. Red Elephant Club. Ryan Grubb, hey, I'm the offensive coordinator at Alabama. And I honestly, I was just I was confused as to, at first, whether he wanted to be in the NFL or he wanted to be in college, right? Because if you want to be in college, you're in a great place. But if you want to go to the NFL and you have an offensive coordinator opportunity, then you do that, right? And so we know that the Seattle Seahawks were interested in him. He had just came from Seattle as the offensive coordinator with the Huskies, right, the college team, and then he could have gone to the NFL, maybe not. But the fact that they're talking to him tells you that he's good and that he's definitely someone that teams feel like they should talk to. But at the same time, I just keep going back to last year when Alabama tried to get him. And he said, no, I'm going to stay here in Washington. I'm going to be loyal to this team. I think we have a chance to win. And it turned out to be true. I mean, they got further than Alabama did. I mean, they made it to the national championship game. They won in the first round. So maybe it's unfinished business. Maybe he wants to be a head coach in college football. Maybe he just enjoys teaming up with Kalen DeBoer. But whatever it is, it's good news for Alabama, because the one thing that you really did not want to see is Ryan Grubb, who comes over with Kalen DeBoer. It was a big win for Alabama when Washington did not hire him as a head coach, and he came to Tuscaloosa to leave before we ever got a chance to see his offense at work. So a lot can change. Look, anything can happen in the world of coaching, right? But good news that Ryan Grubb is sticking around. And I think that that's a win for Kalen DeBoer. And there's a lot of loyalty with DeBoer and his staff. You're seeing that with all the guys that are kind of coming with him. Reminds me of when Nick Saban was starting out in coaching. He kind of had the same group for a while. And then all those guys became head coaches. And then eventually it just felt like it was the opposite for Sabin. Like he couldn't keep a staff. All the coaches wanted to do is just come in and then go for a big payday. But right now, the DeBoer guys are kind of on the different end of things. They're trying to prove themselves, and having Ryan Grubb will be an asset for Alabama, you would think. Guys, I want to remind you that our channel is presented by, in this show, newlifeart.com. Promo code Bama Tailgate. When you go to New Life Art, don't forget to use the promo code. You get 15% off at checkout on your regularly priced item right now. So Bama Tailgate, it's one thing you click say, hey, I heard about you guys on Bama Tailgate, and I appreciate you doing that. But for your sake, when you go to that promo code, just type in that right there, Bama Tailgate. You're going to get a discount on your Daniel Moore prints. And right now, Legacy Continues is hot. You want to get one before they go. And who knew that it was going to be kind of a swan song for Coach Nick Saban, right? We just talked about him going to ESPN. So interestingly enough, those are still available, but they're going pretty fast ever since Coach Sabin retired. So get yours now as we progress in the college football world. All right, let's talk about some guys. Here. Going to start with QB Reese. How about the job that Big Elmo did interviewing QB Reese? He talked to him for us, and we got it on the channel. I'm sure some of you guys have watched it. He was one of the 3 players that Alabama netted yesterday. Congratulations to Reese, who's a linebacker, maybe a touch undersized, but he is a tackling machine. And I say undersized, I mean, when you look at some of the monsters that play that position, that does not mean those 6 foot does not mean that you're small. It just means that compared to some of the other guys. With that said, sometimes those 6 foot guys get in and make a bunch of plays. And the Ramsey High School, soon to be freshman at Alabama, coming in at 210, signed with the Crimson Tide, committed to Nick Saban, went to town, really enjoyed things with Coach DeBoer. Make sure you check out the video. It's on our site. And that was, I thought, a great moment for Alabama to make sure that they were going to keep him. They also got Noah Carter, who went from Arizona to Washington, got out of his NIL deal because he wanted to play for Coach DeBoer, and he signed his letter of intent yesterday as well. So that's exciting. I mean, you're talking about a big, rangy guy that can play on both sides of the ball. You watch his tape, and he's actually a really good tight end, not only on defense, but on offense. He can catch and do some things. He's a great athlete. So he signed, and then, of course, the guy that that concerned a lot of us. And I think that Ryan Williams means so much to the Alabama program right now because of the fact that he's the two-time Mr. Alabama football, because everyone was trying to tempt him with big-time NIL contract money and all that kind of stuff. And he decommitted when Nick Saban retired. He gave the new coaches a chance. And maybe he got a little help from Roll Tide Willie, who was actually at the signing yesterday in Saraland. But having him come to this class, Kalen DeBoer, kind of had his Julio Jones moment. You remember when Julio Jones committed to Nick Saban, it was like, hey, Alabama's for real. You got to take them seriously. This guy's 16 years old. He's a catching machine. He can run the football. He's fast. He's elusive. It's going to be really fun to watch him develop, and having Ryan Grubb sticking around to help this guy develop should be really fun for Alabama football. And to think that a guy 16 years old is that good at football, really like a Bryce Harper type guy in baseball. You know, we're almost the savant of the game, and there's very high expectations for Ryan Williams, but seeing him sign and getting him inked was, again, just a monumental moment for Kalen DeBoer. You know, people wanted to dismiss DeBoer and his ability to recruit before we ever really had a chance to see if he could recruit. And what we found out is that the guy can recruit, you know, and I think that that's something that, you know, Hitler said, well, he's like Brian Harsin. Well, no, he's not like Brian Harsin. You know, he's not like Brian Harsin because he's got a different personality than Brian Harsin. Here's the On Three, and check those guys out. On Three, fantastic job of doing everything. Our boy Bone over there with the rest of that crew. But Alabama stayed number 2. Lost some guys, got some guys, you know, but it wasn't a mass exodus. And remember, with the way that college football is now, if you don't want to play, you can leave. So for Kalen DeBoer, Ryan Grubb, and that staff, Kane Womack, all those guys, just a fantastic job of keeping Alabama right where they are. Now, next year, they're not going to have Sabin to help set everything up for them, right? They're going to have to do it themselves. With that said, I give them an A+ for everything that's gone on. And that right there, to see Alabama at number 2 in between Georgia and Ohio State, where, you know, you'd love to see them number 1, but to see them at number 2, 4 5-stars, 16 4-stars, 6 3-stars, 26 commitments. You win championships with the signing class. Now, I know it's different with, you know, obviously the transfers and everything else, but Alabama has built their foundation on the high school kids, coming from high school to the capstone. So big win for DeBoer, and congratulations to Alabama yesterday once again for getting it done. Getting it done on recruiting day, and now DeBoer can start focusing on installing his offense. He can look to the 8A game, the transfer portal. You're going to have a second round of transferring that'll happen in April. So all of that really leads to one thing, and that's a continuation of the success that Alabama has had. All right, guys. Hey, appreciate all of you for hanging out, getting that comment section. Love hearing from all of you guys. Don't forget that the show is presented by New Life Art, promo code Bama Tailgate, and also Pearl River Resort over in Choctaw, Mississippi. Get over there and bet the big game on Sunday between the Chiefs and the 49ers. You can do that there. You can watch NBA basketball, NHL. You got soccer. You got NASCAR. Did I say NASCAR? All that stuff over there at the Timeout Sports Lounge. Golf season's coming. The great weather that we've had sandwiched in between the bad stuff reminds us about Dancing Rabbit Golf Course. And don't forget, some really great acts are going to be there as well. Ron White is coming up really soon. You got the OJs, the Wallflowers, so they have events there as well. PearlRiverResort.com. Thanks for hanging out. We will talk to you again soon, everyone. And a hearty congratulations to Coach DeBoer and Alabama, and Roll Tide.